This is the kind of BS that so many of us in Scientology had to undo in terms of mind control and belief system. And for those of us who needed it to be able to go out and seek proper mental health care and even medication. Troubling new allegations surface after Scientology Dr. Dad of Real Housewives of New York star Rebecca Minkoff sued for alleged misdiagnosis in Whitney Mills' suicide case. There is a lawsuit. Okay, one, that is the longest title ever, but there's a lot to get in there. Secondly, look at this. This is Dr. David Minkoff. He is the father of Rebecca Minkoff, who we're going to see on the Real Housewives of New York coming out in October. And this is Whitney Mills. Whitney Mills was a young woman, a Scientologist at the top of Scientology's bridge to total freedom. She was an operating Thetan level 8. That is a huge accomplishment in Scientology. The article goes on to say, an amended complaint has been filed in the wrongful death involving Whitney Mills, who tragically took her own life on May 3rd, 2022. RadarOnline.com can reveal. The updated version of the lawsuit includes new allegations and adds Dr. David Minkoff, a prominent Scientologist and father of Real Housewives of New York star Rebecca Minkoff, and his Clearwater, Florida clinic, LifeWorks Wellness Center, as defendants, according to court documents obtained by the underground bunker. As RadarOnline.com previously reported, the lawsuit names 6 Church of Scientology entities, but the latest filings expand on the role Dr. Minkoff and his clinic are accused of playing in Mills's treatment leading up to her death. Dr. Minkoff, a high-ranking Scientologist and co-founder of LifeWorks, has a controversial history that includes his involvement in the 1995 case of Lisa McPherson, a Scientologist who died under suspicious circumstances while in church care. And that's Whitney Mills there. Though he never met McPherson, Minkoff prescribed sedatives over the phone to Scientology staff handling her case, according to court documents. This led to a $100,000 settlement in a wrongful death lawsuit in 1997 and disciplinary action by the Florida Board of Medicine in 2001. And a suspension of his medical license. Despite these sanctions, Minkoff reportedly has continued to treat Scientologists, including Mills, at LifeWorks. He continued to treat people after, how's that happen? How is he doing that? On May 12, 2022, Whitney attempted to set herself on fire before inflicting herself with a gunshot wound, the lawsuit filed in Florida said. She reached out for help. She reached out for help to her church, to the people who were supposedly taking care of her. She reached out for help. Mills, who joined Scientology in 2007, rose quickly through the organization's ranks to reach the highest level, OTA, by 2019. Despite the achievement, she began experiencing severe anxiety and other debilitating symptoms in late 2021. The amended complaint provides extensive details about her treatment at LifeWorks and the care she received from Dr. Minkoff, Rebecca Minkoff's dad. She first became a patient at LifeWorks in 2015 to 2017, and since 2017, she had been diagnosed with various ailments, including ovarian cysts, by the clinic staff, according to the document. There are some text messages that have come out from Whitney Mills, and this is a text exchange between Whitney Mills and Dr. Minkoff. Not long, just I think a month or less than a month prior to when she unalived herself. This is what Dr. Minkoff is saying. Got it. Drugs could numb you and you are OT. Put TR0 in. And TR0 is a drill in Scientology where you're supposed to be able to be there comfortably and confront with your eyes closed. So he's basically saying, get into present time. It's a sensation. It's noise. It has no power over you. That's the truth. Eye of the tiger. You are loved. You have friends and LRH. You duplicate it, dissolve it, So he's saying, understand this, take it in, and then shatter the noise, the anxiety, the things she was saying she was experiencing. That is your power. You can be tone 40, and tone 40 is the Scientology emotional tone scale. It's like the top level where you're like, you got amazing intention. You can be tone 40 with your TR0. That's you at cause. I know you can. Much love, DM, which is David Minkoff. She says, okay, thank you. He says, just saying hello. She says, do you know how long it takes to kill off the Lyme and brain inflammation will go away? Usually 6 to 12 weeks. So he was treating her for Lyme disease. In the months before her death, Mills reported severe mental health symptoms, including anxiety, insomnia, hallucinations, and the sensation her skin was burning. Despite the signs she could be going through a mental health crisis, Dr. Minkoff and LifeWorks continue to focus on physical diagnoses, including Lyme disease, babesia, and other conditions the complaint shows. According to the complaint, treatment plans included controversial and unapproved therapies such as ivermectin, herbal remedies, and experimental peptides, rather than traditional mental health interventions like antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. The complaint also reveals that Mills communicated frequently with Dr. Minkoff, expressing her struggles with mental health and the ineffectiveness of her treatments, as Radar Online has previously reported. What did Dr. Minkoff do? You're wondering, right? He knows. She reached out. She's like, hey, I'm struggling. She was letting her doctor know, like, I'm having hallucinations. I'm having severe anxiety. My skin feels like it's burning. All of these things. How does Dr. Minkoff respond? Dr. Minkoff's responses allegedly often downplayed the severity of Mills' symptoms, attributing them to physical causes and reinforcing Scientology beliefs, rather than addressing her need for psychological help. At one point, the complaint shows, Dr. Minkoff suggested that Mills use Scientology techniques to manage her symptoms, advising her to embrace the idea that her mental distress was just a sensation and had no power over you. This is what he told her. As her condition worsened, Mills repeatedly asked for help with her mental health, but her pleas were largely dismissed or met with advice that aligned with Scientology teachings rather than medical best practices, the lawsuit claims. With these new things being added to the lawsuit, the truth is coming out more and more and more how destructive Scientology is when it comes to mental health and people truly struggling with their mental health. They don't have access to valid forms of therapy, mental health treatment, life-saving medication. It sounds almost like you can't even believe it, but it happens. These are two high-profile cases with Lisa McPherson and Whitney Mills, but there are others. There are so many that because they didn't get proper mental health care in Scientology, people went on to unalive themselves. They went on to kill other people while under the care of Scientology. Phil Jones says it's pretty clear now that Hubbard's Scientology PR tech doesn't seem to work very well. Yeah, no kidding. That is true. That is so true. Yet they keep doing it because they have to do what L. Ron Hubbard said. When we talk about the dangers of Scientology and how it's dangerous to people, this is a huge, big part of it. The lack of mental health care, the lack of acknowledgement. Can you imagine having hallucinations and extreme anxiety and so many thoughts of unaliving yourself, and your doctor tells you to just get your TRs in? It's just noise. You can power your way through it. This is the kind of BS that so many of us in Scientology had to undo in terms of mind control and belief system. And for those of us who needed it, to be able to go out and seek proper mental health care and even medication. You guys know, if you've been following my channel for a while, I lost my partner 3 months ago. And if it weren't for some helpful medications, I would not be able to show up here every day and do this. or even for life. There are valid therapies, true mental health therapy, true medication to help people that people will not get in Scientology. And what's going to happen? We're going to have more situations like Lisa McPherson, like Whitney Mills, and countless others that even went on to commit crimes against other people because they were mentally ill and were not getting the proper treatment and therapy. Honeybee, I know Scientologists don't believe in mental health, but do they believe in taking antibiotics and pain medicine? Like, what do they do if they have cancer? Okay, that's a great question. Scientologists do take and can take antibiotics. They can even take pain medication. When I was a Scientologist, I had a surgery. I gave my mom a kidney. I took the pain medication and I was a full-blown Scientologist. Now, having said that, I took it for 3 days and then switched over to Advil after having, a kidney removed from my body. And part of that for me was because I didn't like the way the medication was making me feel. I had never taken drugs before growing up. I think I'm one of the only people, me and my sister grew up in Hawaii and somehow never tried cannabis. I was like 40 when I finally tried it. You see how that all goes together, and the results are outright dangerous. When it comes to drugs you can't take in Scientology, it's the mind altering ones. They don't want you taking psychiatric drugs specifically prescribed by a psychiatrist. If so, you can be what Scientology calls an illegal PC, somebody they will not audit because of your extensive history with psychiatry. Let's see. James still says, Natalie, you're going to be 70 before you get your head around Scientology and leaving. James, I believe it. I'm with you. I was in for 35 years. I've been out for 14. It might take, a little bit of time. And it's often not until certain situations come up and I have to process it and see like, okay, what do I really think I should do versus the programming that still sometimes comes into my head as the solution. But I've been out long enough and have had enough tools to be able to take a step back and separate that out, but I still have to do it. That's how heavy it is. Experts in cults have often said that Scientology is the most difficult cult to recover from. That's what I got for you guys. Please hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. And most importantly, I hope everybody gets out and has an amazing cult-free day.